Hey everybody, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and I'm in for a big one here. This is Dawn of Madness, a huge cooperative narrative horror game. And before I say anything else, definite content warning for this one. The images are disturbing, the stories are very mature, feature things like suicide and other horrific acts. So yeah, definitely don't watch this if you're younger or a bit squeamish. And disclaimer that I got a review copy of this one. This game is very long, very epic. I'll have a lot to say about that in my review next week. But yeah, so far my full games, when I've made it all the way to the end, which is not always because the game can be pretty tough, I've lasted like 5 to 7 hours. And I can't turn this into the one-stop Dawn of Madness shop and just do videos of this for like the next 2 weeks. So I'm going to play for my usual length, about, 2 hours, edit it down to like a 1-hour video. I don't know how far that'll get us, maybe to round 2 out of 10, maybe round 3 if we're fast, we'll see. And by the way, there are a lot of sections of this game that are super narrative heavy. So when I have something I'm reading for a really long time, use the timestamps if you want to skip to like the next mechanical part of the game. And if you like the content on the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider supporting us through Patreon. You get early access to our videos and exclusive videos every month you can't see anywhere else. You can also listen to our podcast for reviews and design discussions, or join the conversation and come and say hi on our Discord. So like I said, this is a narrative horror game. It's kind of like you're in the minds of these characters when they're in some kind of otherworldly dimension, and you're trying to deal with your trauma and parse through your dreams and stuff. There are 4 characters in the game, and each of them has their own campaign book, and you always pick one of these to be the main character of the game. So even if you have a party of 3 or 4 characters, you're always playing through one person's story. And you're going to be going through having these encounters, fighting monsters on these maps, trying to discover what's going on, and eventually you'll work towards one of 4 endings. There's 4 different scenarios at the end. If you can get that far, you have to survive long enough, of course. And each of those endings will have different things to achieve and will unlock sort of legacy elements to make you stronger or weaker in future games. That's the general idea. But mechanically, the core concept is this time track. You'll have these little markers for each minion and character in the game, and whoever's at the top will take the next action, and whatever they do will move them down a certain number of spaces until everyone gets down to the 0 spot because they can't do anything else. Then you'll go to another round. You'll have this one main guy, the Abomination. There are 8 of these to choose from in the game. They'll be chasing you, and you can fight them through these special confrontation actions. You have to defeat them by the end of 10 rounds to win. But then additionally, you'll be having narrative encounters in these locations. You'll be spawning these other encounters. This is all, by the way, just for one of the characters, and this isn't even all of them. So there's a lot of variety in the encounters you'll have and the story you'll uncover, which is told in a pretty non-linear fashion. Resolution in the game is handled by skill tests. You're rolling dice in 4 colors, and they have up to 5 different symbols on them. And this will be based on your character's stats, their attributes, which will change as the game goes along. And monsters are spawning, and you're fighting them, you're getting conditions. It's very like Arkham Horror, Eldritch Horror-ish kind of stuff. And your characters get items that can help them. They also unlock skills and level up. And again, their stats will change. And also, they'll get these domain cubes in different spots on their board, which can be used for a whole bunch of different bonuses and also to support other characters. And that's kind of the gist. There's a lot going on in the game, but I'll explain it as we go, again, as we play 2 or maybe 3 rounds. But first, I am going to start with the opening narrative for this scenario, which is Hymn for the Lost. And the main character here is one of the 4, Claude Reinhardt, the detective. This one, for those of a video game persuasion who know what I'm talking about, this scenario, at least the setup for it, reminds me a ton of Silent Hill 2, one of my favorite horror video games of all time, because this is a father searching for his lost wife in some messed up city. So, that's already got my attention. We'll see how it goes. I haven't played this one before. I wanted to have a fresh look for the playthrough. Okay, so we start each round with an event entry, and this is just going to spawn some people. Now, it says here spawn the Terror Vessel Herald and a random terror from the Terror deck on different world spawns, and then Claude goes to entry 1. But the makers of the game recently acknowledged that the game was maybe a little too hard for those who want to just kind of enjoy the story and investigate. So they released a story difficulty that basically just spawns a lot fewer monsters so the board doesn't get filled. So I'm going to spawn just this Herald Vessel monster by rolling this special 16-sided die to go with one of the locations on the board. Also in the core rules, whenever you spawn a monster, you're supposed to roll some dice based on their location to find out what they're weak to, what are called domain rifts. But another variant they put out along with the story difficulty is just to draw some random tokens from the bag, which honestly tends to not really change gameplay much, at least I've found, and it's way faster. So I'm going to be playing with that variant while we go. All right, anyway, let's go back to the story and see what Claude's encountering. And before we get to the main story, here's a little background that'll kind of give some context to what's happening. Claude Reinhardt. Everything I thought I knew shattered the moment I received the telegram from Rose. How long had I searched for my wife and found nothing, and now she tells me to meet her there, in Halson's Creek, the place where I lost my past, the town I had left years before, determining never to return. Of course, I had to go back. Nothing else matters but her. Climbing into my old silver sedan, I took off toward the hellhole that had haunted my dreams for so many years. A deafening downpour assaulted me the whole trip, the sound unsettlingly reminding me of weeping women and children. It finally subsided as I parked on a dead-end road, deciding to hike through the forest and up into the town. I figured I'd maintain whatever element of surprise I could, though it was a much longer trek than I remembered. That didn't matter, though. I must rescue Rose, no matter what it takes. The breathing town. You double over in exhaustion as you reach the hill's summit, resting your hands on your knees as searing breaths ravage your lungs. Sweat drips lazily off your nose, mingling with the condensation on the path's uneven, dirty stones before trickling back down the incline. That had been a more challenging climb than you anticipated. Finally straightening, you gaze down into the valley sprawling below you. The town's ratty roofs barely pierce the thick, crawling fog creeping methodically up the hillside. Between the mist, the dark, roiling sky overhead, and the soft glow of the old iron lamppost, you'd never guess it was actually 10 in the morning. As the fire in your lungs subsides, the unease returns. You never did like small towns, but this place, it doesn't matter. You have to find Rose. The trek down is far easier on you physically, but you feel your heart catch in your chest as the fog opens to swallow you whole. Finally, you reach the first houses. How strange. Although you could practically reach out and touch them, the building's blurred, hazy outline seems to lie across limitless gulfs of space and time. As the damp air chills you to the bone, you move forward with your hands shoved deep into your jacket's pockets. The mist rolls in lazy waves, allowing some light to creep between the shadows. You haven't spotted a single sign of another human being yet. Is anyone even left in this town? Why does a part of you hope there isn't? A breeze's low hiss tickles your ear, though after brief listening to it, you pause, frowning. The wind's rhythm is wrong. It would have a natural ebb and flow, even if it were short little gusts, but this is too staccato, too consistent. Honestly, it's more like breathing? Looking around, you strain to see through the fog. Suddenly, you can't shake the impression that everything around you is moving. Vertigo hits you upside the head. It feels as if the city is rushing forward while you reel back. Your arms shoot out to stabilize yourself as you almost lose your balance. This cancerous place is alive. Okay, so let's pause for some mechanical stuff. This is tests, and almost every test in the game comes down to the same stuff. So it says try to keep your balance. Test red for brain and blue for brain. If you fail, lose 1, and that's a different brain symbol, which is your time. So look over here at Claude, and he's got a 3 red and a 3 blue, and clearly nothing has altered that yet, although as you do encounters and stuff, your stats will change. So that's how many dice I'm going to roll. 3 reds, 3 blues, and for each of them, I need to get at least 1 of these brain results. Otherwise, if I miss either thing, I will lose some time. Oops, I forgot. I'm supposed to actually have some of the cubes to start out. Hold on a second. So yeah, to start out, each character rolls 1 die for every one of their stats, and they get a cube in the exact spot indicated. So like a green wild cube, that's what this little portally one is. A blue wild, a yellow, red, and blue. I don't know, I call this one face. It's like the one that lets you help other characters. A blue brain, a red hand, and a red eye. And here's what that actually looks like. I'll get to what all these do when we get more into the game. By the way, the other character, because in solo you're supposed to control 2 I have, is Catherine Little, the farmer. Now, narratively, she's not going to connect to the story at all. She's just kind of along the ride for Claude's dream and trying to help him resolve his stuff. But yeah, she's got her stats. She can place plants on the wall. She's got a butcher knife. Sounds like a nice lady. All right, there we go. Now I think I've actually set up everything I'm supposed to have at the beginning of the game. So let's get back to Claude's test. So he's got a red and blue stat of 3 each. I'm rolling that many dice. And I'm looking for brains or wild. So each die has 1 wild face, except purple has 2. And then has 1 face that they have double of. For red, you're more likely to roll these hands. And then 1 of every other face. So when you're trying to roll the thing that's more common on a die, you usually have a 50-50 chance per die, because a wild plus 2 results. And when you're rolling something that's not on the die, like red doesn't usually have brains, then you only have a 1/3 chance, right? 2 faces that'll match. But yeah, here I did get it, so I passed the test. I don't lose anything. There are ways to mitigate tests further, but I didn't need them yet, so I'll explain them later. Back to the story. What started as a nuisance is quickly spiraling into outright nausea and panic. You stumble backward until your shoulders smack into a wall. Then looking up, you see long, rattling tree branches clawing out of the fog, their leafless, dried edges curving like a crone's crooked fingers. You train your focus on the waving limbs, finding the dizziness waning as the mist recedes and the illusion it caused fades. Finally looking down again, you see you're facing the town square. You shake your head with a shallow chuckle, silently reprimanding yourself for being so childish. Then, taking a deep breath, you set out along the square's rim. Lumbering along the sidewalk, you glance around at your surroundings. The mist still chokes most of the square's center, but you sense something's in there. You can feel it crouching just out of sight, watching you. The hairs on your arms and neck bristle. You pick up your pace, your left hand hovering near your pistol. Visibility's better to your right. Looking across the cracked street, you count 8 old peaked houses that seem to have slouched out of another time. Vines wind through their peeling paint and over their moldy walls, up to their roof's broken tiles. Half the houses have wooden slats nailed over their tall doors and windows, while the other half are as dark as tombs. A small building catches your attention on the next corner. It seems to be a more recent construction, but is just as battered as the others. A stained, ramshackle sign identifies the place. Howson's Creek Police Station. Reaching into your trouser pocket, you produce a folded piece of wrinkled brown paper, the telegram that brought you here. It's funny, you didn't know people even could send telegrams anymore. You reread the message just one more time for good measure. It remains unchanged, as has the sender. Rose. Your Rose. The date hasn't changed either. It still says May 19th. Today is May 12th, 1978, which means it took you 3 full days to work up the courage to come out here. Now you'll be celebrating your 45th birthday in this hellhole tomorrow. Happy birthday to you. Maybe you should head to the police station? If there are any clues as to what happened to Rose or how she sent you the telegram, it could very likely be in there. However, you still can't shake the feeling that something is watching you in the town square. It may be a bad idea, but should you really leave that place unexamined? Okay, spawn the encounters. These are cards with like special encounters we can have. The Derelict station on the police station and the Murmuring fountain in the town square. And then I get to pick one of those 2 locations to go and we'll start the game. Okay, so these are actually pretty close to each other. The locations are randomly put out and then they each have a number for spawning things. So I've got the town square and the police station. Each location has its own encounter that you can go on. So here I would turn to 139 in Claude's book. But then also these cards that get spawned have their unique encounter numbers as well. And by the way, very important rule for this scenario that is not the case in the other scenarios, interestingly, is that only Claude can investigate green encounters, like these 2 cards, and only other characters, in this case just Catherine, can investigate blue encounters or regular location encounters. So Claude's actually pretty dang limited in what he can do at the moment. But yeah, for now I think he's going to go to the police station. And then I almost forgot, sorry, these are all special rules for Claude's scenario. Maybe I should have picked one of the more straightforward ones. But I have this weird woman. Yeah, to check. They call her the woman in the coat. Not at all strange. And she's spawning on 10. So the nursery. That's lovely. But she doesn't activate like a monster. She doesn't have like an action tracker. She doesn't have health. She's just something that the non-Claude investigators can interact with. She's got her own unique deck of cards that go from tier 1 to tier 4. Maybe I need to do that. I don't know what this is for. But she, at the end of every action phase, is going to teleport to a random non-Claude investigator. So in a 2-player, that means that it's just going to always be Catherine. But hey, there we go. We're good. Let's teach you how to play. So we're in the action phase, and we're looking for the highest value action tracker on the time track here. And in this case, we have Fury, which is our abomination, and Catherine, both at value 8. And characters always lose ties. So we're always going to activate all the creatures that are on a given space before we activate any of the characters. So let's go to Fury. The abominations, there are again 8 of them, and they're in 2 families. There's like the Rage family and the other family. So they first of all have this much life, and you have to kill the abomination to win the story and go to an ending. So 18, this is their action track, their value. It's called mental capacity, which is 8. Fury's got a special power. During our activation, we can discard Envenom cards, which are negative status effects that Fury will give us by spending some of our time. And yeah, they're going to, as you can imagine, activate. So it says first activation every round, which is what's happening right now, for 0 time. So it's going to move their mental capacity tracker down 0. Every Wanderer loses 1 damage for each Envenom card they have. If no Wanderer has an Envenom card, check the action below instead. And it says resolve the active confrontation card. So they've got this deck of cards, and this fulfills two major purposes. Number one, it's going to tell you what they do to activate and how much time it takes and what they need to fulfill to resolve that activation. But then number two, this is also how you hurt them. You can take what's called a confrontation action when you're on their space and roll a colored dice equal to the colors showing. In this case, is that blue and red or green and red? I think that's definitely green. Okay. So yeah, here we would need 2 red hands and 2 green brains. If you hit, you deal this much damage. That'd be 3 out of 18 for Fury. But yeah, mainly this is how they're going to activate. By the way, this thing down here is another optional thing you can do to make the game harder. No thank you. And these up here are basically like level up crystals you get for hurting the Abomination or defeating regular enemies. All right, so next he's going to check. Does a Wanderer have an Envenom card? No, not yet. It says choose a Wanderer with the most Envenom cards. Every Wanderer within one space of that Wanderer would gain another Envenom card, including themselves. So that one can't be resolved, and that means that you go to the next one, and it says Fury moves up to 1 space toward the nearest Wanderer. Wanderers are our characters. If it ends in a Wanderer's space, every Wanderer there gains an Envenom card. So basically he's going to be doing nasty things with Venom cards or chasing us down and giving up to us. So he is moving 1 space, and it's costing him 1 time. Or mental capacity, I'm just going to call it time because it feels like a time track. So he'll move down to the 7, which means Catherine will be next. And locations have, you can kind of see them, these little connecting lines. So closest is Claude in the police station. He can go 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. Okay, and when it's equidistant, you get to choose. I don't know. Let's send him through the vessel so he's not close to the woman in case I want to send Catherine over there. Oh, and actually, I just realized that Catherine is also far away. But again, when it's equidistant and neither of them fulfill some other priority condition, you get to choose. So next turn, I can have him either go toward the clue room or toward the police station. By the way, the one minion from Claude, the Herald, she spawned in the clue room. And sorry, these are standees, and also you can get a miniature box. They actually sent me the miniature box, but I figure that's harder to film and harder to tell what is what. So I'm just using the standees laying down right now. Okay, and then we get to Catherine Little. And let's go through the options for characters. This will take a minute, but then you'll understand everything. First, a big one. You've got these support cards. You get 5 of them in 2 Investigator play, or sorry, not Investigator, Wanderer. You get 3 of them with 3 Investigators and none with 4. This is supposed to represent the extra actions you would get with more people in the game. And they're basically just choices of free actions. So this one is an attack or a confrontation. Attack is for a regular enemy. Confrontation is specifically for the Abomination. And attacks, by the way, have up to 3 range. Normally, you have to spend more of your mental capacity to make a longer range attack. Attacks and confrontations cost 2 mental capacity plus the distance. So if they're in your space, they just cost 2. But these are always free at any range up to 3. So it's basically up to 5 free mental capacity. This one's encounter or domain. Yes, there's just a bunch of these. The key rule is it needs to be somebody's turn, so I can't have Claude do one right now. Since Catherine's going, she could pick to use one of these. And you can't use 2 of these in a row. So Catherine could use one of these, but then she'd have to do a regular action before she could use another one. So she can't just take 5 free actions in a row without doing anything else. So what are the core actions? They're mostly pretty straightforward. First is moving. You can spend up to 3 mental capacity to move up to 3 spaces. Nothing stops you from moving. It's not like monsters attack you as you go by them. So you can just move up to 3. And again, 1 mental capacity for each move. So if she wanted to move 2 spaces, boom, she'd go down to 6. You can attack for 2 plus the range, up to 3 range. So she could attack the Herald right now for 3. Same thing for confrontation. It's still 2 plus the range, except you're attacking whatever the top card of their activation deck is. With regular attack actions, you pick one of the things on their board, those domain rifts. So here, if I pick this, I'd be rolling my green stat, and I'd be trying to get the hand icon. So it determines both the color dice you're rolling and the things you want. By the way, these are not great because hands show up mostly on red and brains show up mostly on blue. So none of these are giving me that 50% odds for rolling. They're just giving me 1/3 chance. By the way, other stuff, you can see the reward if you defeat them, their mental capacity each round, and their life. And Herald also has a healing ability. This is what all the ones for Claude has. Each character has 3 enemies, basic minions that are keyed to them that keep on popping up. So Claude has the vessels, which are all these weird ladies with long hair and vines coming out of them. So all of them have this ability. Every living terror restores 1 life at the end of the action phase. So they heal, that's right, terrors, not minions. They heal not the Abomination, but all the basic minions for 1. And then they have their actions. We'll get to that in a second. Wait, did I just? No, that's how it was. But yeah, so that's attack and confrontation. Then encounter for 2 mental capacity. You can explore a location or an encounter. Again, only Catherine can do the basic locations, while Claude right now can only do the police station in the town square, so I guess he'll be focusing on shooting people instead. Next is a super important one, the domain action. Each wanderer can only do this once per phase, although that does not count, importantly, actions granted from support cards. So Catherine can do a regular domain action that costs 1 mental capacity, but she could also use a support card to spend more mental capacity. When you take a domain action, you roll dice equal to these values in the upper left of your current location. So here for Catherine would be blue, green, and purple. And like at the beginning of the game, you get cubes for those. And the cubes are super powerful. I'll explain what they all do in a second once I'm done the actions. Now, again, that's once per turn. They don't have anything to like mark it, and it can be easy to forget because rounds take a while. So I just put one of these little exhausted tokens in the middle of all their cubes to remind me I've done it for a character. Next is a search action, also costs 1, also once per turn. You get to draw the top item card of the deck. Catherine started with a butcher knife. Claude started with a 44 Magnum. Both of these help us deal damage, so good for the enemies we have going on. You can only generally hold up to 4 of these, but you can discard them during a test to add the indicated results at the bottom if they're applicable. Like here, it would only be for red results. So it's never like a bad idea to get a bunch of these because you can throw them away to help you when you roll badly. Then there's a trade action. If you're in the same space as another wanderer, it doesn't cost any mental capacity, but you can only do it once per turn. And then you can trade items between each other. Then another free action is an existence action. You can spend this many, that's what they're called, existence crystals, and that will let you level up. Each character starts with 1 card, and they have 6 cards in their basic deck, although as you play a given character, you'll unlock more. So maybe by the end of this scenario, Claude might have 10 that he could level up into for future games. And then finally, some of your skills and items will give you other actions. So Catherine's got one called Green Thumb. She can put plants down on her space, these tokens, once per round, and only one, each location can only have 1. And at the end of the action phase, when everyone is finished moving, every monster, although not the Abomination, Terror, or Malformation, are like monsters that come out when you die, because you can die multiple times in this game, will take 1 damage automatically. So if she can, like, kind of plan for where people will be or jump in after their activations have finished, she can get some free damage on them. Whereas Claude's got an In His Sight ability that costs him 1 of his time, whereas Catherine's ability is free. And he can put one of these things down on a monster and then use it as a domain rift to shoot them. And these are all the results that are most common. So he could like take a monster that doesn't have a red result or doesn't have a red result that's easier to hit and like put this on them and then make it easier to attack the next time somebody attacks them. And they'll get more of those like special actions as they earn more things. Anyway, I think that's pretty much everything. So let's get to it. Okay, Catherine is next, but I kind of want to lure Fury towards her and then like run away. Because if he goes towards Claude, Claude's not going for a while, so he won't be able to escape. So I'm going to have her do a domain action and get a blue, green, and purple. Give me some of those sweet, sweet cubes. We got a wild purple, which is most common, a face blue, and a green brain. And here, I'll show you what these do in a second. So these are all super useful, which is why I'm trying to get a lot of them. What do they each do? One of the tentacle hand things, you can discard it to re-roll as many dice as you want in a test of that color. So right now, this would only let her re-roll purples. The wild does anything. So all the other stuff I'm going to talk about, the wild can also do. The eyeball is for defense. You can use these when you're taking damage of a given color, because damage fits one of the 5 colors to prevent 1 damage each. The face is support. You can discard them to add a die of that color to somebody's test. And you can do that after they've rolled, and you can keep on doing it. So like if Claude needed like 1 more blue success, she can keep on spending some blue until it finally worked. And then finally, brains are extra actions, basically extra mental capacity. Greens for movement, reds for attack or confrontation. Let's see if I remember. Yellows for doing encounters. Purple is anything, so that's the best one to get into brain. And blue is for, I think, domain and search. Oh, boom, nailed it. Yeah, there we go. Domain or search. So yeah, you can use those to pay part or all the cost of an action. And additionally, very importantly, anytime you're taking an action, or sorry, doing a test and you roll, you can discard these to add the exact color and type result. So let's say like she was doing a roll and she needed to, oh, here we go. Let's say she was attacking the Herald with this red brain domain rift. After she rolled, she could discard this red brain to do 1 more damage to the Herald. So it's awesome to have these things. It gives you a lot of the mitigation and like choice and tactics in the game when your dice rolling doesn't help you out. And so she did a domain action, and this dude still can't envenom anybody. Or that's right, he already did that action. That's only once per round. But yeah, you can't play his card where somebody's envenomed, so he's going to try to move again. And I'm going to have him go towards her and not towards Claude. So he is one away. If he moves again, then he will envenom her, which I want to avoid if possible. Although, actually, is that really true? It makes a Wanderer with the most envenom cards give everyone within one space one more envenom card. And it only costs one time to get rid of an envenom. So if I let him come into her space, he'll envenom her once, and then he'll use 4 more time to envenom her again, and only have 1 time left. That doesn't really sound that bad. All right, so you know what? What the hey? Let's go and use the other once per round ability and draw her an item. I like to get those early. What have we got? Tarnished Lighter. When resolving a test, you may roll one. What? This is so good. There's an extra die in every test deal. I didn't have this item the last time I played. It's crazy. Okay, so she's got a butcher knife and a lighter. Cool. All right, now we got to resolve this. So Fury is going to come in and envenom her, which is what we planned, so that's okay. These are randomized cards, and let's see. This one says you roll 1 less yellow and purple die during defense tests, but you can spend mental capacity to get rid of these, although this one really isn't that bad. Oh, that's right. At the beginning of each round, the first time he activates, he's going to deal a damage to each person who has, or damage for each one that somebody has. Oh, crud. The Herald is activating. All right. This probably isn't good since she's so close to Catherine. If no Wanderer is within one space, she would teleport for 2. If a Wanderer is within one space, she deals 2 damage to the Wanderer. The damage matches the Wanderer's lowest sentience value. And then you'll see this thing with a little eye symbol next to it. That means that only activates as an extra bonus if she has an eye, in this case, on her domain rifts, which she does not. So yeah, it would have been worse. But here she's just doing 2 damage to 1 Wanderer. It's within 1 damage. And they defend. Normally it would tell you like it's red damage or blue damage. But here she's defending with her lowest value, which for Catherine is blue. Whenever you get attacked, you get to roll that many dice, and you're trying to get wilds or eyeballs to block. Now, again, I think that friggin' Tarnished Lighter lets her defend double because she only has 1 blue, but that gives her another one. Not that it mattered here. She didn't get any wilds or eyeballs, so she's taking the full 2 damage. Although Claude could spend this blue face or this blue wild to let her roll extra dice. If she had a blue here, she could block some. But whatever. She's got, 7 life? That's actually kind of low. But she'll just tank the damage. And we'll try to kill that Herald soon. So that's only cost the Herald 1 time. And now Catherine and Claude are both up. So I'm about to, I think, attack the Herald, so she hopefully can't get another attack off. Let me show you Claude, and I already showed you Catherine. Well, no, I didn't really show you the Butcher Knife. So yeah, Claude's 44 Magnum lets him roll an additional sentience die for each targeted domain rift. So like if he attacked the Herald's red, he'd have 3 + 1, 4 dice to roll, but he can never attack a purple rift, because I guess that's like the magical, mystical one that guns won't hurt. Whereas Catherine can discard extra hands up to 3, and it doesn't say they have to match color either to deal that much extra damage after an attack. So I think what makes sense here is for Claude to shoot with the 44 Magnum, and then Catherine can attack with the Butcher Knife. Okay, so Claude's within 2 range, so normally it would cost 4 of his time to attack, but he's going to use one of, let's see, that one's attack or confrontation, which is attacking the Abomination. Let's move and counter. Let's use this one because I don't know if I'm going to attack the Abomination this round and just do an attack action. So it costs no time, which means he or Catherine can go again in a second. And he's got 3 blue and 3 red, but Catherine's best one is going to be red. So he's going to attack the blue, looking for hands or wilds. And if he does at least 1 damage, this domain rift will come away. Once you get rid of all of a monster's 3 domain rifts, and they draw 3 new ones randomly. All right, so 4 blues looking for hands or wilds. Is that just 1? Yeah. Now, Catherine's got up to 2 helpers to let him roll more dice, and then he's got a blue wild that I could use as an automatic hit, or I could use as a hand for a reroll. I'm thinking maybe Catherine gives him a few more dice, and then he rerolls them. Now, by the way, there are only 4 dice of each color in the game, but I didn't see anything that said that like he can't go above 4. So, okay, Catherine's going to spend 1. Let's call this his 5th die. That's a miss. She'll spend the other 1, call it his 6th die. It's another miss, jeez. And then with 4 misses, he's going to definitely use his 1 wild to do a hand and reroll. So he's got 1 hit. We'll remember that. Plus, okay, 1 more with the wild. Again, there's only a 1/3 chance when it's not like matching the more common result on a die. So that wasn't going to be great anyway. All right, so that's 2 damage on the Herald out of, 5. Okay, that's something. Catherine should be able to finish him off, especially with her butcher knife if she spends enough stuff. And that didn't count as Claude's activation. Or sorry, it did count as Claude's activation, but it didn't use any of his mental capacity. So he's going to spend 2 now and go down to 4 below the monsters to go to investigate this derelict station, one of the 2 that he can do. Stepping into the police station, you hear creaks from the upper floor. Is someone up there? 74. Here we go. You stride briskly along the uneven sidewalk toward the police station. Nothing moves apart from the fog, but you still can't shake the feeling that someone is watching you from inside the mist. Finally, you reach the police station on the corner. A town member may have painted it white at one time, but the only remnants of that color are a few moldy, peeling patches dangling on the walls. Otherwise, you observe only exposed concrete, bare brick, a dirt plot that may have once been a garden, and a steel fence wrapped around the precinct's rear lot. This place is abandoned. You step up to the front door, expecting to see signs of vandalism. Instead, you surprisingly notice a faint light through the thick glass. You try the door handle. It's unlocked. Turning it, you open the door and step inside. The wooden floor squeals as you enter a small reception area, followed by a hall. A fallen cabinet blocks the way into the next room, which looks like an office with 3 brown desks. More cabinets filled with dusty boxes slouch against the next room's walls, accompanied by bowed shelves stuffed with yellowing files. Maybe there's a way to get by the fallen cabinet. You step forward to examine it, passing a stairwell on your right. Your nose itches from the musty dust. You freeze, your eyes widening. Then slowly you swivel to the right toward the stairway. Tensing, you slowly, quietly draw your magnum. You take deep, measured breaths as you raise the pistol. Okay, it says steady yourself for what's coming. Test blue for brains. Okay, that's the most common. And red for hand, also most common. If you succeed, go to entry 168. Should you fail, spawn the encounter The Vanish on the police station. You are now trapped in the police station and can't perform any actions apart from entering The Vanished. Yeah, so once you're trapped, you have to use your actions to keep on doing that encounter until you can escape. Although you can spend mental capacity to pass part of the test automatically. But yeah, this is going to be great. So either way, we'll remove the derelict station from the game. Let's see if we can make this happen. Now, they are giving me pretty low-hanging fruit here. This is my best stats. Of course, that doesn't mean... Oh, nope, we're good. 1 brain, 1 hand. Just got it. The Vanished. Black boots come into view, then tan pants. You lower your pistol. It's a police officer. The man steps to the floor before turning to appraise you. You do likewise. He's young, probably in his early 30s, and not nearly as unkempt as the building around him. He looks professional, and as serious as a heart attack. The officer presses his lips into a thin line, then offers you a brief nod. You're looking for Rose, aren't you? He says. You frown, taken aback. As a matter of fact, you reply. Do you know her? The officer doesn't reply immediately. Instead, he turns to stare at a corkboard on the wall. You step up beside him to see what he's looking at and feel your body growing even tenser. Missing posters fill the board, each one revealing a different face. All those eyes seem to stare right into your soul. Noticing the picture in the board's center feels like taking a punch to the gut. The woman looks so much like Rose, almost too much. You have to try to brush off the sudden rush of old memories. Oh, this is not as good. Test green for face. If you succeed, gain a random purple domain. Okay. No penalty if I fail, but I've only got a single green, and that's not a face, and yeah, I'm not going to waste anything to do it. Finally, you tear your gaze off the pictures and back to the policeman. He too is staring raptly at the pictures. You don't know why, but something about him seems strangely familiar. Did you know him as well? Maybe at some point long ago? You should talk to Lady Mary, he says, breaking your train of thought. She knows all the women in town, especially those who... The officer glances away, swallowing. You can find her, Lady Mary, I mean, in the ceremonial hall beside the orphanage. A lump forms in your gut, conjured up by his words. Lady Mary, orphanage. Those names stir at your memories and send a chill creeping up your spine. The orphanage is on the edge of town, the officer says. Go out the door, turn right, and keep walking. You'll get there eventually. Then he turns and starts climbing the stairs again, disappearing around the bend. Your gaze returns to the missing people's pictures and those staring eyes. Anguish floods your chest, clawing its way up your throat. Why does looking at them make it so hard to breathe? Finally, you leave the police station and stumble onto the foggy sidewalk. A wave of faintness seizes you, dropping you to your knees as you press your palms against your eyes. You notice your hands are wet as you pull them away. Stupid misgets on everything. Okay, here's some important stuff you're going to see at the end of a lot of encounters. Let's talk through this. Ending B+1. So I'd mentioned this earlier, but you're working towards different endings, and until you've played through the scenario at least once, you won't really know what they mean. So, I don't know if B1 is the ending where I find my wife, or A1 is the ending where I spawn a new wife who's a demon. I don't know. There's usually 4 different endings, but Claude's is a little different. In that, according to the rules, C and D are the same ending, but I think whether you have more C or more D is probably going to affect something. They didn't say. But yeah, for right now, I've just got a little bit of B. Okay, then I'm not trapped anymore. I gained the Coda card, the police officer, and 1 existence token for leveling up. And then I spawn the encounter enveloped in warmth on the ceremonial hall, which is going to like kind of continue the story I just started. So let's talk about Coda cards for a second. These basically track what you've done, and a lot of other things will check like which ones you've unlocked and stuff. But then they also permanently alter your stats. So now Claude's going to have -1 green, so he'll be a 0 at green, but +1 blue, so he'll be a 4. Additionally, and this is kind of a cool thing, each one can once per game be flipped over and used when you're doing a confrontation action, the one where you're trying to hurt the abomination. And you get to roll as many extra dice, but only dice that match whatever their target is. So, like here for this current abomination card, I'm looking for red hands and green brains. So, this card would let me roll a single extra red, but no extra greens because there's nothing on there. And the extra blues and the yellows and purples wouldn't matter. And then you'd exhaust it. It would still change your stats forever. You'd still say that you have the police officer for like anything that's checking it story wise, but you couldn't use it again for a confrontation. And you can only use one of these per confrontation. So building these up, having encounters makes you stronger to fight the abomination, lets you have more encounters. And, again, you're trying to kill the abomination and get a lot of encounters because, oh, sorry, I didn't say how you actually win. You got to kill the abomination and your total ending points have to equal 40. You can lower that to 30 for a quicker game or 50 if you're crazy, because the best I've done is like 42. I don't know how the heck you get to 50 in 10 rounds. But yeah, so you can change the story goal to make the game a little faster or slower. And they give you these little papers for your stats. So you just write them in. So what do I got? I got 0 and 4. And stats, by the way, with this can go negative, which is often a good thing. Like, let's say that I got a whole bunch of other codas that lowered my green more and more. I might have like 3 and 4 in other stats, and I have like -4 in green, which doesn't matter. You still just have 0. Other people can still let you roll extra dice, so it doesn't like really hurt you to go into the negatives. All right, Catherine is next. Fury's about to envenom her again, but for 4 action points, so I don't really mind that. But dumb Herald lady's about to blast her for 2 damage again. So let's try to finish her off and do that final 3 damage. And I think, yeah, let's use this move, encounter, or attack. It's going to save her 3 actions here, so it seems worth it. And we have done another action, Claude's encounter, since our last support cards. We can do this. So she's attacking her using red because she has 2 green and 2 red, but for red she does have a single brain cube, so she can add 1 damage. And remember, she can also use her butcher knife to add up to 2 damage with her 2 hands. So basically she can't possibly fail to kill her, but it's a question of how much I'm going to spend for it. So she has 2 brains plus 1 for her super overpowered lighter. And what did she need? Red brains. Okay, so she got 1 hit. And I don't want to reroll anything. Well, actually, she doesn't have a red to reroll anyway. I think she'll do 2 hits, and then she'll use her butcher knife for 1 more. I want to save as many hands as possible, even if I'm spending other things to give me free damage later on. And again, butcher knife doesn't say it has to match color. This is a purple hand, but I think it's okay. So it does 3 damage. The Herald is gone. Catherine gets 1 of those existence tokens. You need at least 2 to level up, and the best skills cost 3, so neither of them can level up yet. These can also be used on a 1-for-1 basis for preventing damage. That's clearly a terrible thing to do unless you just have like way too many. You've already leveled up a lot. Now, the Herald's not going far. She is one of Claude's 3 like ongoing terrors, so she's going to come back pretty soon. Probably like 2 or 3 rounds. She'll spawn automatically again. All right, and now what do I want Catherine to do? I want her to be here for the Fury to envenom her. But she already did the 1-point actions for getting domain cubes and for getting an item, so I guess she'll just investigate the bedroom. All that remains. Entering apartment 206, you wander through it until you reach the bedroom. This well-used room now appears abandoned, is it? And remember, only she in this scenario can do locations, and only Claude can do the green cards like that new one that he just got for the orphanage or whatever. All right, so that's going to cost her 2, although, well, actually, let's look. This one's a free encounter or domain action. Oh, that's right. She just used one of these for an attack, so she has to do a regular one. But yeah, we've got encounter, domain, search for an item, domain, confrontation. And this, kind of like domain, lets you break the rule of how many times you can search per turn, and then move or search. So I could like really load them up on items quickly if I want. But for now, she'll just do an encounter. Get her down to 4 time with Claude. Yes, there is. All that remains. Walking down the apartment building's 2nd floor, you finally reach room 206. Many of the other apartment's doors have been blocked or boarded up, so the fact that this one is unobstructed makes it seem worth investigating. The doorknob turns when you try it, allowing you to enter the apartment. Inside, you find 2 sofas, a coffee table, and a cupboard, all covered with yellowing white sheets. To your right is a kitchen, dining area, and laundry space, while in front of you is a door with wooden planks nailed over it. Meanwhile, a stubby hallway lies to your left. Peering down the short corridor, you see 2 entrances, one on each side. Both doors are open, the left leading into a tiled bathroom and the other into a master bedroom. Finally, the hall ends in a large, dark wooden wardrobe. Entering the bedroom, you see a queen-size bed with a nightstand beside it, a second wardrobe, and an old desk slumping below the window. Everything looks well used, as if someone spent far too much time here for too long. And judging by the furniture's overall condition, it seems the person hadn't been in the best headspace or living healthily for quite a while. The bed sheets are dirty and rumpled, open boxes and packages cram the wardrobe, and an open music box sits on the nightstand, its merry-go-round frozen with the horses in mid-gallop. Yellowed sheets of paper litter the desk, all crammed with scribbled notes. Being in this room makes you feel vaguely unsettled for some reason, but you're certain secrets are buried in here somewhere. The only question is where to look. Okay, so we gain, 2 purple brain, which is the wild any action, so basically that investigation cost me nothing. But then I've got the encounters, whispered regrets, relived dreams, and found at last on the bedroom. Oh, interesting. So basically, I cost me nothing, but it just gave me more cards to investigate here. I guess like maybe it's representing the different things in the room. Ooh, now look at this. This is interesting. So 2 of them, blue, are for her to investigate, but this one is for Claude if he can get over there. So that's pretty cool. This is, again, not the same as the other 2 chapters I've played. Now, it also said place a completed token here. That's this blue one, and it basically means that you can't do the basic investigation of this location. So each location can generally only be investigated once per game. Although then, when you go to the ending, these all flip over to new versions of themselves, and you get to do all new stuff with them. Okay, here's the plan we had. Fury is jumping from 5 to 1. Because he already did his first activation every round effect for nothing, but next turn if we sell of Envenomed or Horus, and now he resolves the active confrontation card if he can, which is just checking if any Wanderer has an Envenom card. And yes, Catherine does, so it costs 4, and every Wanderer within one space, including her, gains another one. And this one says roll 1 less blue die during defense tests, so she could just hang on to these, or she could spend 2 mental capacity to get rid of them. Since he's going to do 2 damage to her automatically the next turn, next time he activates in the round, I think she'll probably get rid of him soon. Now, because this card has been resolved, we flip to the new one. Oh my god. That is a lot of red we would need to make that work out. Claude can do 3 red. And the hand... Actually, he's got a red hand and a red eye. Ooh. He might want to confront this one, because there's a reasonable chance that he could make this happen. Especially if he can do like one of those domain actions and get an item first. What was his thing? Gives him a single red. Okay, the Coda won't help very much, but his other stuff might. Now, this activation, the guy only has 1 point left, so we won't be able to do it. It says a Wanderer has an Envenom card. The Wanderer with the most Envenom cards doubles his total Envenom cards. So if Catherine didn't get rid of them, then she would have to do 4. This will do 3 damage to him again, though, which is 1/6 of his life. And the cool thing is, once he's dead, he doesn't come back. So besides it being a victory condition, it definitely frees up the board quite a bit. Although remember, we're playing on story difficulty, so there would be more monsters doing nasty stuff to us right now. Okay, so it is us for a while now. I've got a free search domain, or confrontation. I probably want to save that for the confrontation. But move or search, encounter, or domain. Well, you know what? Let's first just have Claude do a regular domain encounter. Although, no. His current location is only purple and blue. He really wants to get somewhere with red, because that'll help him actually confront the boss. And, there's nowhere he wants to go with red. Every location, look, the one with the orphanage is 3 yellow. The town square with the fountain is 2 yellow and a purple. And up where Catherine is blue, green, purple. Where are the reds, man? Well, then he'll draw an item. An item that does not have any red if I discard it. Okay, Cursed Doll. Consumable 2 charges. That means you put that many existence tokens on it. So there's how many uses. Once you use both, it goes away. So often you I find I want to use 1 and then keep it for this. So when receiving damage, you spend 1 charge to redirect that damage to a terror, malformation, or other wanderer in your space. Whoa, that's freaking good. So it doesn't work on an abomination, unfortunately. But yeah, I can try to get attacked by somebody in my space and then just curse doll it right back in their face. All right, what should Catherine do now? I think she's gonna encounter. And yeah, I'll use this free encounter or domain one. I want to get some more stuff done. So what are the 2 that she can do? Relive dreams. Time is severely yellow. The page is lying on the desk. Okay, so that's looking on the desk. And this one is the music box stands out like a glittering beacon. Music box or desk. I feel like papers might give me more clear information first. We'll do 109. The room grows colder as you slowly move toward the bedroom's desk. You shiver as you reach it and start sifting through the papers covering its surface. Time has severely yellowed the lined pages, all seeming to have a ripped left-hand edge. Do these come out of a diary or composition notebook? Picking up a page, you examine it close. The penmanship is erratic and uneven, as if the author was feverish and perhaps unhealthy while writing. Then you look at other notes. Strangely, they all seem to describe the same dream, only with different dates. Almost 15 years, the author writes in one document. It's been almost 15 years since I first had that dream. You notice something strange as you scan the words. The pages are growing brighter. You look around for a light source that could be reflecting off them, but you don't see anything offhand that could explain it. Shaking your head, you return to reading. That same dream again. I can't shake that cold feeling in my bones. I can't quite figure out where I'm at in it. Am I underwater or is it raining? Blip! A drop of water blots the page you're reading. You jerk, startled. More droplets fall on you in the paper. Glancing up, you see water condensing on the ceiling. The precipitation hanging, collecting, dangling pendulously before gravity pulls it down in fat drips. Your heart beats faster as you return to the pages. Now it seems that the light in the room is darkened, like clouds scudding across the sun. It feels like something wet envelops me. It's suffocating, smothering, like having a wet towel pressed over my face. Something is happening to the window. Glancing up, you watch water vapor collecting on it like a bathroom mirror next to a running shower. Fog has settled so thickly on it now that you can barely see through it. For a moment, you think you see something moving on the far side of the window, but that's impossible. This apartment is on the second floor. I flounder around breathlessly in the dark. I grope around blindly, trying to uncover whatever is pressing against my face. A noise startles you. Looking up again, you see a shadow approaching the window. Two palms, silhouettes, press against the glass, streaking down it with a squeal. You jump back with a yelp. The hands disappear. Were they ever there to begin with? Shaking your head, you return to the diary pages. Finally, my lungs are burning so bad that I have to take a breath, wrench at my face, thrashing at the substance that's asphyxiating me. The panic is driving me insane, but no matter how hard I try, there's nothing I can do. Panic is building in your chest as the words reverberate in your head. It's almost like you can hear them. The window squeals again as the hands return, dragging down its surface. Other handprints appear on the walls, red and angry. It's raining on your head in the apartment now, the mist slithering up your legs, seeking your face. You try to hold back a scream, but you won't be able to too much longer. Okay, try to overcome your growing panic. We need red eyeballs to get the better result. Okay, she's got 2 red, plus, again, I think 1 for her friggin' lighter. And, ooh, we got a wild, because you had a red eyeball, but I didn't want to use it. Squeezing your eyes tightly shut, you shake your head vigorously, trying to clear your senses. Finally, you open your eyelids again, studiously avoiding your surroundings. You focus intensely on the diary pages as if your life depends on it. I rip, tear, and cut like a wild thing with fingernails like claws. I finally rip through the stuff pressing around me and take a deep, searing breath. I want to scream, to roar, to shriek. A ripping sound echoes off the walls around you as the room trembles, the furniture in the window vibrate. Terror and fear cascade through your body, jangling your nerves. Finally, I let it out. The sound tears at my throat, and as I howl, I hear another voice joining my own. It's a woman's voice reverberating all around me. Our screams mingle, becoming a single terrible animalistic screech. It doesn't sound human. Frankly, I don't know if I am anymore. The screams echo through the room, vibrating the glass and shaking the desk. More bloody handprints appear on the walls. The window trembles, then shatters into hundreds of sparkling fragments that streak through the air like jagged shrapnel, hurtling toward your face. Try to fight back your mounting fear. Okay, we're going for the red eyeball again. And we got it. Your hands clamp over your ears as you grimace in terror. Your eyes squeeze shut as glass slivers score your face. The paper crumples in your hand, crinkling in your ear. You have to finish it. That's the only way you'll be free of whatever is happening here. At least you hope that will do it. With a concerted effort, you lower the page back in front of your eyes, gripping it tightly around the raging wind. Then you continue reading. I just start to feel like I'm seeing the world through a bloody membrane. Others shriek inside me, sounding like the wails of monstrous unborn children. They pour out of me in a mind-rending cacophony. The voices push through my flesh, my skin. I can sense them straining to get out. The bloody babies. You start to feel suffocated. Your extremities tingle with numbness, your head spinning with wooziness. You think you could pass out any second. The woman is still there. She's always there together with me, screaming her blood-curdling scream. It may go on forever, but even so, no matter how much we shriek, regardless of how terrified I feel, I still can't make myself wake up. You read the last word on the loose diary page, and the tumult settles. The sounds cease, and the maelstrom calms. Slowly, you drop the paper back to the desk and look around. Everything is still once more, even the misty tempest beyond the shattered window. Regardless, you feel that this ordeal has marked you somehow. You're not sure you'll ever truly be free of its scars again. Oh wow, 2 for Ending Beast. We're going hard for that one early on. And we gain the Coda card Everlisting Nightmares. And wow, 2 existence. We can actually level up. So that gets us to 3 out of 40. Super close. And look at this. This is awesome. So very rarely, I've played the game several times, almost every Coda card is an even trade, like +1 for -1. Here I'm getting +1 to 2 stats and -1 to blue. That will make blue a 0, but purple a 4 and green a 3. Man, except for blue, Catherine, especially with her stupid... she does like once per turn? I feel like it's way too good. I don't know. Anyway, Catherine is a friggin' tank. And it's actually your turn again. Let's level up. Here, I'll show you her options. She can get a 2 or a 3 cost 1. So a lot of her things are going to mention the plant tokens. Remember, she can place 1 as a free action per turn. Okay, Otherworldly Bounty. When performing a domain action, that's the one where you roll the dice and get cubes. On a world shard containing a plant token, a wanderer may roll 1 additional die of any sentience. Wow, so that gets you 4 instead of 3. That's pretty crazy. And that's for anybody, so she can lay her plants down and help others. I like that. Strange Resilience. When receiving damage, may treat any amount of it as purple damage. Ooh. That's a friggin' good card, because look at her purple stat, 4. That would give her 4 rolls to defend any time and any amount of it. That means she can split it. So if she took, like, I don't know, 4 green damage, she could make 2 of it purple, 2 of it green, and she'd roll 7 dice to prevent the 4 damage instead of 3. That's a crazy card. Only 2? Okay, Tough as Nails. When spending existence to prevent losing damage from damage dealt by a tear or malformation, you may spend a hand domain of any sentience to force the monster to lose 1. Not as good. I don't want to use my existence instead of leveling up to stop damage. Butchering the Meat. When attacking a wild domain rift during an attack action, your matching die roll results in domain spent deal 2 damage instead of 1. It's pretty good, kind of niche though. Growing like weeds. Gain 1 existence at any time, once per round. What? That's gonna pay for itself in 3 rounds, man. It seems like a hard one to say no to. What's the last one? Gain a purple domain of any sentience once per... Oh my gosh. That's a wild of any color at any time. So I could like do it while I'm rolling to get an automatic... Jeez, these are good. Gosh, Catherine. I really like Otherworldly Bounty, but yeah, I mean, I gotta go for growing like weeds just right off the bat. Get out of here. Oh, I forgot she's all in venom. Okay, so this is technically an action. This costs 0 of her mental capacity. And she's spending those, and hey, guess what? It's once per round. Boop. She gets 1. All right, then just so I don't forget, I'm going to get rid of these for 2 mental capacity. It's going to bring her down to almost being done. Now Claude's up, and what do we have left? A move or search for an item, and then a search domain, or that's right, he still wants to confront, right? Did Claude want to confront? Yeah, I think so. What are his actual chances? Okay, he'd roll 3 red dice. He has a free hand and a free eyeball if he needs them. And then he could throw his 44 Magnum for another hand, but heck no. He could use his Coda for 1 more red. He also has a red reroll. Oh, that's only if he gets the hands already. And yeah, she doesn't have any reds to help him. But I feel like he can get it, maybe? All right, you know what? This might be a little wacky, but I'm going to use... remember, she did do an action between. She did her existence action, which still counts. I'm going to have Catherine use this free move or search. She's going to come over to my buddy, use the free once per round trade. I'm going to give him the Tarnished Lighter, because Catherine's already leveled up a lot. I feel like he needs more help, and it's also going to help him maybe kill this guy. And look, it's got a red... I mean, I really don't want to throw this item away, but if you like absolutely needed to, you could trash it for the red eyeball and a red wild, so actually you could get all the reds from this. And just because they can each only hold 4 items, he'll give her the Cursed Idol. Although I feel like he's maybe going to be more the shooting, killing thing. Although, I mean, they're both good combat people. I don't know. The other characters are a nurse who can boost her comrades and heal them, and a priest who can bless them to give them permanent stat boost and do some other cool stuff. Okay, it is Claude's turn, though, and I do want him to do a domain action. I just want to get some more things. And he's still got 2 things after this. It's on a purple-blue space, not the red I want, but that's okay. Ooh! 2 blue brains is actually for domain and searching. That's pretty nice. And a purple hand. Okay, now we're going to use our last free action confrontation. 1, 2, 3. Yep, that would normally cost 5 mental capacity points, but here it's free, which is great. Although, you know, theoretically, if we had 3 or 4 players, one of them could just move over there and actually attack. So he's got 3 red, 4 red. He's got to get 2 hands and 2 eyes, but he's got 1 of each for either a reroll or automatic successes. Okay, so my chances are somewhat... Oh my gosh. Okay, darn it. I thought that was better than it is, because I love the 2 wilds, but I didn't get any hands. Or, what was the other one? Or eyeballs. Well, you know what? It's okay. I can call one a hand, one an eyeball, and use my free hand and my free eyeball. I don't want to take the chance on a reroll. Let's just make it happen. All right, so cool. This one gets discarded. And I'm doing 3 damage, which is out of 18. That's pretty darn good. And yeah. Oh, and I get 1 existence. Crystal. What's this new one? If a wanderer is on a world shard with a yellow sentience, most of them, what happens? Fury deals 2 damage to each wanderer on a world shard with a yellow sentience. 2 yellow damage, which neither of them is like the best at dodging. Each targeted wanderer then gains X in venom cards. Oh, gosh. Equal to the number of damage they didn't prevent. So I might not mind that too much if I can get like Catherine to be the only one on yellow. But again, a lot of the places are yellow. But ooh, the location we're both on right now is not yellow, so that's at least good. And yeah, 1/6 of the way there, baby. By the way, this one would also do 3 damage. Seems like all of them do so far. Okay, we have no sport cards left. We each have 2 mental capacity left. They've both done domain actions. They've both done searches. So it's really just like encounters right now. Okay, so let's have Catherine go first because she can do the police station location, which we have not done. It was the card that Claude did. And then if a new card pops up, maybe Claude can do it. More likely he'll be moving. See, what is this? The wooden box. Skulking along the bumpy sidewalk beside the central square, you angle toward the battered building on the corner. Paint peels off its side in moldy strips, exposing the brick underneath. Even so, you can tell that this used to be a police station. The short fence's small gate hangs open before you, so pressing through it, you pass a dirt plot that may have once been a garden and climb the concrete steps to the front porch. Approaching the door, you twist its handle. You're almost shocked when the door swings open with a morose groan, the wooden floor squealing in protest as you step onto it. You find yourself in a small reception area attached to a short hallway. A stairway hides partway along the hall, whilst a fallen cabinet blocks the way into the next room. Peering around the obstacle, you see an office with 3 brown desks. More cabinets filled with dusty boxes slouch against the next room's walls, accompanied by bowed shelves stuffed with yellowing files. After examining the wedge cabinet for a moment, you finally decide to clamber over it. Climbing into the triangular gap, you slide across it and flop gracelessly over the far side. Regaining your feet, you stride around the room, examining the ajar cabinets and shelves. Nearly all the cardboard boxes and files you find are gaping, disheveled, and damaged. Someone else may have rifled through everything before you got here. In one cabinet, you uncover a pile of equipment, an old typewriter, a tape recorder, and a broken TV set. None of it seems useful. Wait. You see something through the farthest cabinet's ajar doors. It looks like a wooden box, which seems almost entirely out of place in the sea of cardboard cartons. Walking to the cupboard, you open its doors to appraise the container. It's old, maybe one of the oldest things in here. Despite that fact, though, it's undamaged. In fact, it's even sealed with dark red wax. Reaching in, you extract the box. As you do, you notice a disturbance on the layer of dust atop it. Fingerprints. Re-examining the seal, you realize someone broke it. The previous interloper was inside this box and recently. Suspecting you've already missed the little chest's biggest secrets, you carry it to one of the desks and open its lid. Inside, you find 3 envelopes. One looks ancient and so thin that it seems to have nothing in it. The second is stuffed almost to bursting and appears newer than the first. Finally, the third one is obvious the latest and whitest edition with what may be a solid object inside it. You sweep your gaze over the envelopes, intrigued. Which one should you open first? Oh man, okay, this seems what they're going to be doing in this scenario. So I get 2 more purple wild time tokens. I can use it as any kind of action. I get the Bloody Bathroom, Records of the Past, and the Sealed Reel, and we're completed. And hopefully one of those will be for Claude, so we can investigate right now. And sadly, that would be a no. Those are all blue, so Claude will have to go do something else. Now, importantly, even when you have cubes and free actions and that kind of stuff, if you're on the 0 space, the second that everyone's on 0, the round ends. Which means, in this case, Catherine, even with her 4 purple actions that she could take, would be unable to actually use them until next round, which, is fine. Now, let's see. If he goes to the town square, that's where the Murmuring Fountain is, and then he's pretty close to the orphanage as well. That is a yellow location, but at least he would tank one for the team, and he's not hurt. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Can I say something real quick? I absolutely would have had Catherine put down a plant token with a free action before she took the action that would have taken her to 0 time. Because she can only do that once per round, and it's going to permanently be there. No good reason not to. Okay, now, back to it. Yeah, I'm going to have Claude move to the town square, and he can tank a hit from Fury next turn, and maybe get some Envenom card. But that'll use up half of Fury's activations, which should make him a lot less scary. Furry though does get 1 more action. Of course, he cannot do this because it costs 4, so he's just going to move 1, and he would envenom anybody there. And both these are equidistant to somebody, and yeah, it just says nearest. So I'll have him go back to the clue room towards Catherine, because she has more actions every turn to try to escape. Oh, nobody ever checked for the woman in the coat, but here she is, so now we can say hi to her, Catherine can. Oh, and wait, hold on. Another free action I should have taken. Claude could have leveled up, and yeah, I looked through. He's got actually a few really good ones. His Hot on the Trail one lets him, every time he gets a Coda card, put out a clue token that gives anybody on that location +1. Yeah, on any test, then they get +1 die of whatever color they want. And his other two lets him move clues. That would be helpful until I get Hot on the Trail. This one lets me hold more domain cards, and you can search more than once per turn, although that doesn't matter as much in two-player. A Keen Eye, each time you gain any existence during an attack, confrontation, or encounter action. If it has a clue, okay, so Keen Eye needs clues, Digging Deeper needs clues, Pursuing Leads needs clues. But yeah, even though I probably should get clues based on all of that, I kind of want to get Working the Case, because look, you can gain a brain, that's remember one action point basically, domain of any sentience at any time once per round. So I'm going to say I got this before he moved, and I'll make it a purple because those are wild. And basically, it's going to be kind of like he has 7 actions a turn instead of 6, which is super good. But yeah, now we go to the refresh phase. Everyone goes back to their starting mental capacity. We get all our support cards back. Anything that's once per round goes away. And again, the game doesn't say to use these, but I use the exhausted tokens. I put it next to the items when they've searched. I put it here when they've done the domain action. I'll put it on things like Working the Case when they've used that to get the domain. Just seems to make sense to me. All right, and then we flip. This is like the little round track. It also tells you what you're reading. So we're going to read entry 20 at the start of the turn. Although, again, it's going to be slightly off because I'm in story difficulty. Okay, so here it says, I would check the spawning conditions on unspawned encounters. I'll show you that in a second. Then I'm going to spawn a Vessel Muse and a Random Terror. But with story mode, you only spawn the Muse. So, again, way fewer enemies. It might be a little too easy, but I like seeing the story. And again, I'm trying to fit in like at least 2 rounds of the game in an hour. I'm sure this video is already getting close to an hour, so it's probably not going to happen, but we'll get through one more round. All right, so here's the Muse, and I think she's pretty much identical. Oh no, except when she teleports to you, if no one's within 1 range, she makes you lose mental capacity. I think the other one might have dealt damage. Oh no, she made you lose existence if you had any when she teleported to you. All right, here's the Muse 3. Great googly moogly. She's right next to friggin' Claude. She's gonna blast him. That's awesome. Remember, she uses she attacks their lowest stat, which right now for him is green and purple are both 0. Fantastic. And she's a 6, which means she'll go before him because they're tied. So can Catherine get in there and kill him? Maybe? I don't know. But first, Friend Fury. There is at least one Wanderer on a world shard with yellow. So he's going to deal 2 yellow damage to Claude, and Claude will take an Envenom card for each one he doesn't prevent. But that will move Fury all the way down to 4, so he won't bother us for a little bit. Claude's only got 1 yellow, but he's got stupid, what is it? A lighter, that's what it is, a lighter. Oh, and he got 1 defense. Remember, you're looking for eyes or wilds, no matter what color it is. But sadly, he doesn't have any wilds or eyes or rerolls. Catherine could give him 1 more die. I mean, it's only a 1/3 chance, but it would stop a wound and an Envenom card, so sure. Take a chance, take a chance, take a chance, take a chance. Nope, we failed. Okay, so 1 damage, 1 Envenom card. And they seem to all be defense. -1 purple die during a defense test. Well, guess what, buddy? I don't have any purple anyways, so I don't care. Although the dude does cause 1 damage for each Envenom card at the start of the turn, so I guess maybe I don't actually want to leave it. Claude does have 11 life, by the way, compared to Catherine's 7. But there aren't that many items that heal unless you have the nurse character that can heal consistently. And when you die, you do come back, but you miss the rest of that round. But you spawn like a dark alter ego version of yourself, so there's more enemies when you die, which is, kind of things getting worse if you get defeated. Oh, and hey, I forgot to do the domain riffs. Muse. Huh. Yeah, nothing that's doubled up, easier to hit there. Well, it's Catherine's turn now, and you know what? She's going to use Growing Like Weeds to gain a second free thing, and she's going to get her one that gives you an extra domain whenever you're rolling on a place with a plant. And then she'll use that junk immediately, because I'm going to try to kill the Muse. Let's see, best for her, she's a 3 in green now. She's got a green brain, and she's got okay, cool. So she has a decent chance here. And what is she? 2 blues and a purple, and I guess she'll add a green. Is with her a little bonus for having a plant token. Okay, some cool stuff there. Oh, this is costing her 1 time, by the way. Okay, now since she's 1, 2, 3 away, she'll definitely use the attacker confrontation. I don't think I'm going to confront the guy that many times. To do a free attack, that would be 5 otherwise. And yeah, still the best she's got is the 1 green brain or the 1 green helper. Now, Green Brain is movement. I feel like that's more useful. So I'm going to have her attack that. She wants to try to get to 5 damage. Jeez. All right, so she's got 3 green. Sadly, she does not have her nice little lighter anymore. Okay. What are we looking for? Okay, that's just 1. That's not really enough, is it? Well, that's okay. She'll spend her 1 cube, and I think I might actually do another attack action in a second. So that's 2 damage. She does have 2 tentacles lined up, but it doesn't deal the killing blow. I'm going to wait. Now, I want her to use another one of those free attack cards, but she has to do some kind of action first. So I'm going to use a blue. She already did a domain action. Let's do her draw an item action for this. What she got? Twisted Candle. Ooh, +1 red. When resolving a test, ignore devour tokens in your space. I'm not playing with the optional devour rules because, again, that makes the game harder. But hey, that gets her to 3 reds. Okay, now that she's done another action, she's going to use our other free attack. And this time she'll do the red eyeball instead of the green brain. She's got 1 free cube of each, but I kind of like the green cube for free movement more than the defense of the red eyeball, especially since she'll eventually get that awesome defense skill, I think. All right, so 3 red going for eyeballs. Oh, cool. Okay, she got 1. We need 3 more damage. So she'll spend the 1 red eyeball she had and 1 of her 2 tentacles with her butcher knife. And that'll finish off the muse before she gets to attack Claude and get me an existence token. So by the way, you can probably see that, you don't have to play on story mode. There would only be 1 more monster. I think both last round and this round, we could probably handle them. I don't know. I just like to focus on the exploration. But yes, the game is beatable, certainly with the full difficulty level. Although Claude isn't as bad as, the last one I played was spawning 3 enemies the first round and some other rounds. So that certainly would have been a lot nastier in not story mode. Okay, but geez, we haven't explored friggin' anything. Could check out all this crazy stuff at the police station, but should I say hi to... I'm very curious about this woman in a coat. Yeah, let's explore her. That didn't sound right. I didn't mean to say let's explore her. Let's just talk to her or see what happens. 180. Darkness. A sudden sound burst harries the ears as a flash of light lances the obsidian gloom. Raindrops hammer glass. Car horns grow louder, then fade into the distance. They're passing quickly. The vehicle's engine revs as it accelerates faster, faster. Thunder, then a brief flash, all blurred and dizzied by heavy rain. Lights from lampposts refract in the dark. The engine's roar grows louder. A silver car's fuzzy rectangular shape flashes past, leaving a streaking white and red trail in its wake. Okay, we got another B. We are all B all the time. No, she can level up again. Another one of those. I think we can get the defense one. What? Claude receives 1 damage? What did Claude do to anybody? I guess, talking to the woman sent the car after him? Oh, and then she gets transported to a random shard, so you can't just, churn through her encounters easily. That makes sense. Okay, Claude ain't scared with his lighter. Oh my god! I was going to say he had enough defense, but look at that. With 3 wilds, he's definitely good. And then where's our lady going? 16. Down to the chair. The chair is weird, by the way. Not to spoil anything. I don't really know what's going on with it yet. But that's the only room that's been in every scenario I've played. So the rest of these are unique to each character. But that one just keeps on following us. All right, now Claude's up. But I should probably check what Fury's about to do. Because we'll be activating him soon. Okay, if a wanderer is in Fury's space, they test yellow for 2 brains. God, we're both bad at yellow. If we fail, you lose 2 damage and gain an Envenom card. Then that wanderer must choose another one from anywhere on the board who has an... Oh, geez. Okay. So if they can succeed, they'll stop this. But yeah, that's a bad card. Now, if he moves even once, he won't have enough for us. So he'll just kind of chase us around and try to envenom us. Can we do this? God, it's 3 green. Claude has 0 green. Catherine has 3 and 2 she's amazing at purple. Ooh, and her Coda card is 2 purple and 2 green. And look, this one does 4 damage. That would get him to 7. Okay, so I want Catherine to confront him. But either way, don't have to be worried about this card. He's just going to move towards us for a while, so we don't have to do anything yet. But yeah, I got to save the confrontation for Catherine. And he's going to be coming towards her, but it'll take a little while, so we got some time. And yeah, let's go. Actually, you know what? Before we have Claude do this, he's got a ton of blue brain to burn, so let's spend 1 to have him do a free domain action, and then another 1 to have him get an item. So that'll be a 2 blue. Okay, so the search gives him Unnatural Anesthetic. Discard this card to choose a terror in your space. Reduce that reduce that terrorist mental capacity to 0? Although that would be better. I gotta say, that'd be a lot better for Catherine, because she starts faster, so she could move to somebody and use it real quick. Whereas he's kind of slow, so he wouldn't be able to get and stop the fastest people before they acted. But it's also got a nice little mix of colors if I just want to discard it at some point. And then he's in a purple, yellow, yellow space. Got a yellow wild, yellow help somebody else, and a purple reroll. Okay, those are all free. We got a free encounter action left, a move or search. I probably want to save that for moving this time. And then, oh, there's a free confrontation for Catherine to probably use. Okay, so let's make this encounter free. I want to try to get some more story for Claude going. And he's doing the fountain. There was another option at the beginning, and then I'm going to try to have him go to here, and then maybe you can start heading up toward the bedroom. So the murmuring fountain. You hear the fountain's soothing murmur as you approach. You also hear something else, a man weeping. 123. Following the uneven sidewalk, you stride deeper into the town square. A heaviness settles upon you like an unwanted coat as you move onward. Maybe this was a mistake. Observing your surroundings is growing harder as the fog constricts around you. Dense bushes and shrubs rise out of the mist like primordial sentinels, their towering forms looming over you. Shifting uncomfortably, you walk onward. Something moves in the fog, didn't it? You have a hard time telling for sure. Snapping to a halt, you search for the figure you thought you saw. You wait, watching the mist drift forward, then back. The haze twists restlessly, even though you still don't feel any breeze to move it. Finally, you start shuffling onward again. You feel like you're losing touch with your senses of direction and distance. The town square wasn't that big, was it? How long could it take to cross it? After another minute or two, the little lane widens, fanning into a broad, round, paved area. You stand there until the fickle mists part enough to reveal a structure ahead. Slowly, you approach the looming form until it finally takes shape. It's a large ornamental fountain. Several further steps reveal the fountain's carved marble edges and ornamentation. Finally, several connected shapes rise from the basin's center, though they're still hard to discern. They almost look like people, perhaps 3 of them? The curved shapes suggest the figures are women. 3 women chasing me, that sounds familiar. You can hear the fountain's soothing murmur as little streams pour into its depths. You can even see part of the ornate backdrop behind it now. You think you should almost be getting close enough to see the fountain's centerpiece, which is why you're so surprised to see it shrink into another shape that looks more like a man. The new sculpture seems further away than the original form you saw, and it's moving. You jump, your hand dropping toward your pistol. Then you hear the man's murmurs waft toward you through the fog. It doesn't seem like he's noticed you. Tentatively, you step toward him, trying to parse out his words. Okay, try to overhear the man's whisper. Test yellow for help. My yellow's a 1, but again, I guess my lighter, and then I do have a yellow. Yep, I'm going to use one of my yellow supports that I gained from that domain action. Why him? Whoa, it should have been me. Why not me? The mist parts slightly, and you can make out a few of the man's details. He's red-headed, middle-aged, tall and spindly, wearing a nondescript smudged shirt with the sleeves rolled halfway up his biceps. His head is lowered, his hands covering his face, and he's sobbing. Moving your hand away from your pistol, you clear your throat. Maybe some empathy could help you both. Hey, are you okay? The man's right hand clenches around his left wrist. His tense words tumble out between muffled, uneven sobs. No one ever chose me. What did I do wrong? What did I do so wrong? You step closer. What happened here? Are you... The fog thins enough for you to see that his fists are redder than his hair. Suddenly he jerks, facing you. There's no hope, he shouts. Don't you get it? Hope abandoned us all years ago. The man appraises you fiercely, his face wet with tears, before turning back toward the fountain. He rubs his hands up and down his forearms, streaking the blood oozing from the multitude of cuts across his fair skin. You feel sick. It should have been me. I'm looking for someone, you persist. A woman. She's not from here. The man's arm snaps upward, pointing through the fog. Try your luck at the maternity hospital. Then he returns to his burbling murmurs, rubbing his bloody wrists, feeling heavy and tense. You start walking away, but not before you hear the sobbing man's next words. Why? Why did you leave? Why did you leave? Why? Oh, we got ending A+1. Finally something is not B. We get Coda middle-aged man, another level up shard. We get, a consequence token. So there will be a lot of these that'll like track things in the game and change other encounters later. That'll be on the town square. And we get, okay, we can go to the maternity hospital. Okay, and yeah, here it is, a little bit up from Claude, the intermittent wails. And, okay, Claude's becoming a bit of a one-trick pony here. Look, he now has 0 in every stat except for red and blue that are each 4. Now, luckily with his lighter, he's kind of like a 1 in everything. But yeah, he's kind of good at some things, and not others. Okay, now I think Claude's going to move down to the ceremonial hall. This is, what was this? The orphanage, right? Where, like, I was supposed to speak to some lady. And then I could get some free actions, but let's go ahead and let this guy go so she can kill him to another encounter here. So what's this one? Enveloped in warmth. Finally, sweating and out of breath, you reach the orphanage. There's a light on in the chapel. Could someone be waiting for you inside? As you finally reach the orphanage's grounds, you realize you're sweating and out of breath. You huff to yourself, wiping your forehead. What are you, some felon running from the cops? Why are you pushing yourself so hard? Straightening, you turn and appraise the orphanage. The spacious multi-level house rises to dominate your sight from behind its wrought iron gates. The road ends here at this place. Hopefully your search will too. Shoving down the mixture of feelings swelling inside, you push open one of the gates. You notice there seems to be a light on in the chapel or ceremonial hall lying off to the left of the main building, so you swerve and head toward its front doors. Strangely, each step you take seems to add another year to the structures and grounds. They seem to become more decadent. The brick-red color drains from the cracking paint as dust cakes thicker on the windows, the grass withering, the trees shriveling as their drying leaves twirl away in an errant gale. You shake your head violently, forcing yourself to get a grip. At least the fog hasn't arrived here yet. At last you reach the front door and ring the bell. Nothing happens. You knock at the door. Birds chirp as the breeze returns, whistling through the dead, rattling trees. You knock again. Come in, a woman's voice says softly, drifting through the wood. You oblige. Inside, you find a tall, domed room, its interior surprisingly clean and well preserved. You step lightly across the hardwood floor, glancing briefly at the cream-colored walls, paintings, and meticulously arranged furniture. The atmosphere elicits an otherworldly feeling in you that swings between cozy warmth and icy emptiness. Two richly engraved structures, either curio cabinets or altars, stand sentry against the far walls, facing a large shrine bookended by an elaborate copper bathtub and a pulpit in the room's center. Lit candles flicker atop nearly every flat surface, lending the room a soft yellow glow, and revealing the white dress and gray scarf of a woman kneeling before the right-hand altar. You can't see the woman's face from this angle, only her long white hair that she has meticulously woven through an ornamental pearl-studded silver barrette. You almost feel like you shouldn't disturb her meditations. There's something austere about her, a commanding presence you don't want to cross. Somehow you know, deep inside, that this is Lady Mary. You're back, Claude, the woman says, her voice echoing through the hall. You jolt, frowning. How did she know it was you? But again, how did you know she was Lady Mary? Try to deduce what's happening. Test blue for eyes. If you succeed, gain 1 blue brain. I got this, baby. Blue's one of my good ones. Oh, and I got a lot. I didn't even roll my 5th die. Heck yeah. Warmth is spreading through your body. It's not unpleasant at first until it brings back the same dizziness you felt upon entering this town. Clutching your head and squeezing your eyes shut, you stumble backward. As you do, a soft melody worms into your ears. It sounds vaguely familiar, like a children's lullaby you forgot long ago. Then you hear something else, a sound like flowing, pulsing liquids. Opening your eyes again, you see fissures ripping the paint on the walls, a reddish liquid seeping out of them. The effluence oozes onto the floor, pooling and spreading across the hardwood. It pulses as it spreads like a living thing. This can't be happening. It's not possible. The walls, the floor, and the ceiling swell as the quivering jelly completely engulfs them. They don't look much like wood or plaster anymore. It's more like they're living tissue. You stagger backward, fumbling for the doorknob with desperate fingers. However, all you feel is wet, spongy flesh, your fingers slipping and sliding uselessly over the moist, warm surface. No, no, no! Sweat soaks your shirt as a twisting, slithering organ presses out of the tissue, snaking through the air toward you. It moves closer, closer. It's right in front of you now, searching for your navel, pressing wetly against your shirt as it rises in the air. You begin to hyperventilate as you realize what it is, an umbilical cord. Finally, the cord works under your shirt and adheres to your skin, the ethereal children's melody growing louder as it does. You want to scream. The placenta is pressing in around you, constricting. As the wet walls press tighter, you feel the amniotic fluid rising, pulsing with your heartbeat, covering your mouth and nose before completely immersing you. You can't breathe. This is terrifying. What the heck, y'all? Okay, so try to break free from this waking nightmare. I test blue for eyeballs, that's easy, and green for eyeballs, that's not. If you succeed, gain 1 random purple domain. If you fail, gain a disoriented card but ending A+1. I feel like I should fail. Spawn the encounter, visions and half-truths on the ceremonial hall. Oh, trapped in the ceremonial hall, and you can't proceed or perform any actions. Okay, interesting. See, I got 4 blue. I'll use my lighter for the 1 green. Whoops, that definitely fell. And what did I need? Eyeballs. I got an eyeball. Oh, I got both. Okay, well, I guess I can't get the ending thing, but I do get a random purple, which, might be good. Oh, it's a purple wild. That's friggin' great. All right, so we'll get to that one on my next turn because I can't do anything else. All right, so meanwhile, we're back to her. Got a free move search or a free search domain. Oh, confrontation. That's right. I want to do that. Do I want to do it yet? What was I waiting for? Is there any way she can get boosted? Not really. She's got a purple wild. She's got 2 green eyes. She's got 3 green and 4 purple. So the only thing I'm really worried about is getting exactly a purple wild. That's a 1/6 chance, even with 3 dice. What is that? 525, 125. That's like less than 50% odds. Oh, but I forgot her. Her Coda card is ridiculous. So, okay, let's go ahead and do the confrontation first, right? Because, yeah, he took an action, so she can... Okay, so she'll do the free confrontation, because our friend is kind of far away, but he's close enough, right? Is there a connection? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Cool. Okay, she got 4 purple, 3 green. She doesn't have to decide to use the Coda or anything else until after she rolls. Ooh, I got the wild. I got 1 eye. I got 1 purple wild. I guess I don't use the Coda. Because, yeah, all I need is a single purple wild, and I've got that. Although, purple wild is pretty nice, but she rolls a lot of purple. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and hit the guy. So that is 4 damage. She gets 2. Man, she can level up again. Yeah, so this guy's got 7 out of 18. What's this new one? That's a lot of green. Although, she's got 2 green eyeballs, but that's the most common. Getting 2 green tentacle hands would be tough, even with her Coda. Okay, and this one only activates if a Wanderer has an Envenom card. The Wanderer with the most Envenom cards doubles his total. Oh, Claude still has his. So this would just make Claude have 2 Envenom instead of 1. That's not the worst in the world. Before anything else, our girl can level up. World at her fingertips. Oh, that's right. It gives her a wild domain of any sentience once per round. That is so crazy. Yeah, the rest are like surviving getting hurt, which I do want eventually. But this is just so good. Yeah, I got to do this. Oh, whoops! I marked the wrong thing. She hasn't put down a plant yet. I can't forget that this time. All right, so that costs 3 out of 4. I mean, dang, maybe does she attack the boss again? No, because he's going to activate. I mean, it costs like all her stuff. But yeah, I mean, she's got 3 green. She can get a wild at any time, so she can get a 4th. She can get a hand. Yeah, she can easily hit him. Crud. Is that what I do? Maybe I just like really go for the quick kill? But how much would it even cost for her to get to the guy? Right, it was 3. It was 3. She could use a free move to get to his space and only make it 2 actions. Yeah, that seems okay. I think that seems okay. Now, he'll probably do something nasty to her afterwards. So she's going to use the free move, and then on his space, she's going to freaking do it, man. Let's attack him. All right, so this one is going to be interesting. We really need to get at least 1 hand, and then the rest we can kind of take care of. Okay, wild. Wild works. Wild works. Okay, now she's already there. Does she want to use her Coda? No, I guess not yet, if she doesn't need to. Because this is a pretty solid... Well, I don't know, actually. She's pretty good at all these. You know what? She will use her Coda. Because I'd rather, like, not use up her 1 wild per turn or whatever. So she marks that as exhausted, and she's getting just 2 more green dice since the other colors don't apply. So she'll re-roll the ones that missed, I guess. Here we go. Okay, so... Darn, okay, never mind. I guess she has to use a Whirl at her fingertips anyway. She'll get a green wild and use it as the last thing she needed. So that's another level up and 3 damage. Yeah, this is definitely the fastest I've gone after the dude. And this guy has less life than most. Like some of them have like 25 or more. So he's at 10 out of 18. Whoa. And what's his next one that he's probably going to hit her with? Yep, and Wanderer has an Envenom card. Okay, so this actually, he's the next to activate. They'll use up all his turns. It says choose the Wanderer with the most. So it's Claude only has 1. Oh, it's this again. Every Wanderer within 1 space. So it's just Claude because she's not close. So that actually was not too nasty at all. So she gets another Envenomed. Roll 1 less green die during defense. But really what's worrying me is he's going to take poison damage. And with him being trapped, I don't think he's going to have time to do much else. But yeah, Fury is done. Claude just needs to get untrapped, and then he can like use some of his action tokens to get rid of his Envenomed. By the way, this new one, yeah, we suck at yellow. Catherine does have a 1 wild yellow and a 2 yellow stat, but otherwise that one's a tough go. Oh, it's another one of these things that hurts you if you're on yellow, which would only target Claude right now. But also he has absolutely no like yellow. Well, he can block 1 yellow damage. Okay, so yeah, we're not going to worry about him. Let's go ahead and have Claude try to resolve his trappedness. And to give him some options afterwards, I'm going to have him work the case to get purple domain, I guess. And we'll use these. These can be used for anything. Normally you need a yellow domain to search a location. But yeah, there we go. All right, so he's hanging out with that wacky wall placenta. Lady Mary stands before you, staring at you with her soul-piercing gaze. You're worried about Rose, aren't you? The woman says. 6, let's go. At last, you squeeze your eyes tightly shut again. Strangely, you find that you're finally able to scream. You shrink down, folding into a fetal position. Oh, and placenta, okay, baby imagery. Your eyes snap open. The placental sac is gone, as is the umbilical cord. All that remains is a ceremonial hall. Wild-eyed and sweating, you breathe deeply as you slowly regain your feet. Someone's standing behind you. Whirling around, you prepare to strike. Dude, Lady Mary stands there, of course, staring at you with her soul-piercing gaze. Her dignified sense of presence takes you back. She must be in her 60s at least, so how did she seem so capable and energetic? A soft smile touches her lips, her eyes glinting. For just a moment, you glimpse the woman as someone much younger. You think she may be in her 30s, old enough to have seen some of life, but not too much for the scars to show yet. She wears something on her head, too. Is it a bonnet? She looks so vibrant. Why do you feel like you recognize her? You're worried about Rose, aren't you? The woman says, aging again. She's been here for a while. Yes, you say, trying to compose yourself. I'm looking for her, but you are going to find her. You find yourself trembling at her words. Sweat collects like dew on your upper lip and the tip of your nose. Am I? You finally manage, your voice cracking. The woman doesn't answer immediately, instead turning to the side as she returns to her altar. You've been away for far too long, my dear, she says. You will find her, but first it may behoove you to familiarize yourself with the town again. Lady Mary kneels, closes her eyes, and resumes her murmured prayers. You turn back, thankful to find the door and not some unholy living tissue in its place. You leave the hall, mulling over the old lady's words. You think her few sentences are already beginning to haunt you, and you're not sure why. Familiarize again. Ooh, we finally get an ending C and A. We're not trapped. We get Lady Mary. Oh, and 2 level ups. And oh my gosh, past reflections, the crying boy, the woman in the bathtub. No thank you. The Shining told me not to mess with that. Holy crud, Lady Mary. So green and yellow are now -1, which again doesn't really hurt me more than it already does. But purple's now finally up to 1. And red and blue are 5. I don't need more of that. All right, so we got past reflections of the orphanage classroom. No thank you, don't want to go there. And right next to it, the crying boy in the boys' dorm. No, no, thank you. And the woman in the bathtub in the cesspool. Does anything in that entire sentence sound appetizing to anyone? I don't think so. All right, we're back to Claude. He's going to get rid of his Envenom things, because again, I don't want automatic damage if I can help it. And I guess I should investigate one more place. Let's move 1 into the bedroom and check out the one thing I didn't check out that she can look at. That'll finish up. Ooh, but wait. No. Before she does that to finish up her turn, blip. Although I keep on forgetting, she's got like 8 billion free actions. But she's kind of okay because he's not going to move for his first action. When he's at 8, he's going to attack Claude with that yellow card on top. And then maybe she'll want to like confront him again because she's doing pretty dang good with that. So she's going to just spend her actions and keep all her purples for a ton of free actions later. And check out, what was this? Oh, the music box that was glowing, yeah. The music box stands out like a glittering beacon on the dust-caked nightstand. Its surface is clean and polished, in sharp contrast to the rest of the dingy room. You step up to it, picking it up to examine it closer. As you do, you hear a soft click inside it, and then the winding lever on its side starts to spin slowly. The gears turn as the cylinder begins to rotate, the teeth plinking over its raised bumps note by note. Finally, the horses rise and fall briefly before the mechanisms stop again, the box falling silent once more. You eye the music box suspiciously. Did grabbing it jar it into action? You suppose it's possible. Then the ornate mechanical construct starts up again. You frown. Once could be a coincidence, but twice? The music seems to be a lullaby or a nursery rhyme's tune. It almost seems like you recognize the melody, though you're not sure from where or when. The thing vibrates gently in your hands as your eyelids grow heavier. What about having a baby, dear? A voice echoes through the room, or was it just in your mind? You open your eyes as the music box winds down again. Why do those words make you apprehensive? Do you fear having a child? Why? Setting the music box back on the nightstand, you shake your head, trying to clear it. As you do, the machine starts up again. However, the melody is different this time. It's more intense, faster, and sadder. The sadness permeates your soul, settling in your chest as it grips your heart. But I'm not complete. You see that, right? I'll never be complete until I have a baby. The voice seems somehow synchronized with the dark melody. Your uneasiness grows as you continue to listen. Unless I become a mother. Upon hearing those words, your fear metastasizes into aversion. That last word echoes like a gong in your head. Mother! Why could such an innocent, natural word send chills down your spine? Alright, discern your thoughts from another's. Oh god, blue for wild. If you succeed, you can discard 1 condition card. If you fail, gain 1 disoriented. Okay, at this point, Catherine's got 0 blue. She's definitely got 0 wild blue. And she already used her like 1 wild per turn thing. She could throw away her twisted candle, but I mean, whatever. She doesn't have any conditions to get rid of, so she'll just take the disoriented. Okay, your encounter actions cost is increased by 1. That's annoying. At the end of the action phase, you may spend 2 face domains of any sentience to discard this card. Dang, we only have 1. So, man, that's going to suck for next turn. Ugh. Well, she can use the free encounters from support cards, I guess, and Claude can focus on encountering. Maybe she can do more confronting of the boss. But yeah, that's rough. The music continues faster and faster, more intense and even sadder. It seems positively bleak now. Love and loss intermingle as they emanate from the music box, surrounding and engulfing you. Dizziness sends the world spinning around you. Are these your thoughts or someone else's? It's all because of you. You shake your head, trying to deny the accusation. Inexplicable guilt swells in your belly. You always knew it. You found me, remember? You knew and you still followed through. This really is all your fault, isn't it? No. You found me, and then you rejected me. No, no, no! Disturbed, confused, and frantic, you swipe your arm in a wide arc, knocking the music back off the nightstand to the ground. A thin drawer in its base pops open as it hits the floor, and a folded sheet of paper falls out. Frowning, you squat down and grab the note. Unfolding the yellowed page, you find handwritten words scrawled upon it, blotted by long-dried tears. I'm sorry I messed up our marriage, my dear. I'm sorry I caused you so much pain. I'm sorry for everything. Please know I never intended for any of this to happen, nor did I do it consciously. If one day I'm gone... It seems the writer regretted the following sentence because it's been scratched over with repeated pen strokes. Despite this, though, you can still make it out. You know where to find me. The scratched out portion's replacement is written beneath it and finishes out the letter. Just don't look for me. Ending B+1. Music box, 1 more level up. Let's get speed of 5, so certainly the ending I would be heading for at this point. Oh, and whoa. It's going to shake some things up. Let's go see. Okay, what's that doing for Catherine now? She's at 4 green. 1 blue, which is not really that useful. 1 yellow, and ooh, down to 3 purple. Okay. Still pretty solid. And green, blue, and red for Coda. All right. By the way, Claude's got 3 of these things. I feel like he should... None of them give yellow, though, for the current card. All right, Claude's got 1 action left. So even though this is where I'm going to end this video, I think I'll have him move 1 up to the secret tunnels, ready to go talk to freaky boy weird children things going on. All right, so yeah, we'll call it there. I'm not sure how long this will be when I edit it, and God, it's going to take forever. Hopefully I had fun music while y'all listen to me reading, because that takes a lot of work. But yeah, that is Dawn of Madness for all its awesomeness and its challengingness. And yeah, that was me playing 2 hours. Now, if I wasn't reading everything out loud and talking through everything, I probably could have gotten through that in like an hour and a half, maybe a little bit shorter. But that's still about 45 minutes per round. And if you get to the ending, which in my games has taken me usually 8 or 9 rounds, then you still have to play the ending, which is many rounds on its own. So it's a long game, but if you want to hear more thoughts on that and other things about this one, check out my review in about a week. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope that was not too disturbing. Good gaming, and I'll see you at the next stop.